kill the top lights over there too? That will long hit those lights very quickly. Thank you. All right, my name is Daniel Pearsall, Brett Schmaltz. Fighting with the lights, we have Ramon.
That's good.
Okay, so let's get started. My name is Daniel Pearsall. Just to tell you a little bit about myself. I have a bit of a business management background. Been restaurant manager for several different four-star restaurants. And finally decided that I absolutely hated it and wanted to go back to doing what my passion was, programming and working on computer games. I owned my first computer back in 1981, which I bought with a friend of mine. It was a Trash 80. It's long gone. He's still my best friend, so apparently some things work out. I was the programmer and did a quality assurance for the game, did all the bug fixing, which they told me since I did the programming, it was my fault the bugs were in there, so I should have to fix them. I couldn't really argue with that, so. Our game, Galaxy Tour Destination Scorpius, which we commonly refer to as GTDS, because that's a bit of a mouthful, is a first-person shooter that takes place on an interstellar cruise ship. It's Earthling's first contact with aliens, and it was not friendly. In 2046, the Aurora Borealis is en route with a group of passengers to the planet Scorpius. It is intercepted by aliens, forced out of hyperspace, and boarded. It's aimed to be played on the PC, and our target demographic is 17 to 35-year-old males. We have a couple of our concept arts here. This is the main character, Eric Martin. He's a member of the elite anti-strike force Singularity 6, which we have to confess we sort of stole the name from SEAL Team 6 since they were the news. Here's the Aurora Borealis and the alien ship which is attacking you. You're forced out of hyperspace, the ship is boarded, and Eric must defend it and recapture control. We tried to keep our scope relatively small. In reality, I think we probably should have expanded it to be a little bit larger. We have two major levels. The first level is the main area of the ship, and it has 4 different areas in it. And then we have the boss level, which is smaller and more compact, so we could do a lot more artsy things there. The time played takes 10 to 15 minutes to play through our little demo here, looking at everything. And there are 4 different types of enemies. We have the jumper, which uses mainly a melee attack, and jumps, thus his name. He has 2 different movement types. And we have a soldier, which has a ranged attack as a rifle, and has 2 different movement types. He can either run or walk. Then we have a flyer. From the name, you can probably guess his movement type. He uses a grenade launcher or a rifle. And we have the boss, who can teleport, move, he can run, he uses melee attacks, uses a grenade launcher, has a shield that spawns which will keep him from taking damage, and in addition will actually heal him if you shoot him or damage him with all the shields up. So that's one thing, a little strategy to keep in mind. There are a variable number of enemies. Different enemies spawn at different times, and they don't always spawn the same numbers or in the same place. So, next one. As I stated earlier, it's a futuristic first-person shooter. We have 3 different types of weapons there. We have the rifle, which you can use as a semi-automatic weapon, or it has a scope on it, in which case you can use it as a sniper rifle, and it is single shot in that mode. We have the pistol, and then we have grenades. We have 4 different types of pickups. These are spawned off the dead bodies when you shoot aliens, or there are some chests around the level that you can pick up which have these in it. And we have the rifle clip, grenade, med kit, and pistol clips. Keep you from running out of ammunition. And these are just silhouettes of our 4 different types of aliens. The jumper, soldier, flyer, and boss. For the keyboard commands, you use your mouse to look around. To fire, you can either use the left mouse button or the F key, whichever is your preference. If you hold down the right mouse button, it activates your scope. It also slows down the enemies to simulate you looking through a scope and drawing a bead on it. Makes it a little easier to target. Use your W, S, A, and D keys to move. R will reload your current weapon. G throws grenades, and P will pause the game, which allows you, you'll see the pause screen, we'll show it. Use 1 and 2 to switch between the pistol and rifle. So if you run out of ammunition, switch weapons. And then 4 will use your health pack. The programming is a little tricky with the 4 different types of pickups, each being spawned randomly off different aliens. 3 different types of weapons. You have to keep track of the ammo for each weapon and the damage type each weapon does. Use your med kits to regain health. And one of the big challenges in the game was there are 4 different types of aliens. Each has at least 1 movement type. Most of them have 2 or even 3 movement types. And so they have to use a little bit of artificial intelligence to decide which movement type to use. For example, if an alien's 100 meters away and it's the jumper, if he jumps, you don't want him to jump 5, 10 meters. If he's 5, 10 meters away from you, jumps towards you, you don't want him to jump 100 meters. They are aimed to try to land a little bit behind you and get you from behind other jumpers. So the different movement types were a challenge, and the different abilities that they have. I went into a little bit on the jumper's artificial intelligence there. The distance that they move, how they gel and move. And they'll have a melee attack, which you actually can dodge if you're fast and you react quickly enough. The soldiers use rifle fire and will either be running or walking. And one good way, even if an alien is out of range, to get their attention is to shoot it. Then it automatically realizes that you are there shooting at it and will target you and come for you. The flyers actually do not fly with wings. They have jetpacks, and which it's rather amusing if you shoot them when they die. Their jetpacks loses control because the alien controlling is not dead. So they go flying around and fly into walls and stuff like that before they finally fall to the ground. Thought that was amusing to see. Boss, like I said, has a shield that he can spawn. He can teleport. He can use a melee attack, rifle, grenade launcher, charges you, does extra damage when the shield is up. You can drop his shield by hitting it with a grenade, but that does heal him quite a bit. Or if you hit him with a grenade while the shield is not up, he will be stunned and cannot spawn the shield. So that would be a good tactic if you have several grenades left. If you want to save some for the boss fight, to stun him and then shoot him while he's on the ground. The environment, there are several different levels. On the first level, there are several different areas. They're blocked off until you meet certain conditions. So being able to recognize when you hit the conditions, there are things like the aliens splashing when they hit the water, birds chirping if you go too near the planters, things like that all have to be taken into effect in the environment. We use Photoshop as our primary tool for texturing and doing the models. We used Mudbox, which is the horse head here. Looks like we're playing chess and having a night. And 3D Max to do the models. Ramon can talk about those quite a bit more because he's an excellent modeler. Adobe Audition is what we used for the sounds. We have our sound man over here. Bless you. We programmed in JavaScript and used Premiere to make the videos for the PowerPoint. And let me turn it over to Ramon Portolatin, who's one of my best friends and an excellent artist.
Thank you, Dan. Dan is an excellent programmer. He's, and I did a little bit of programming in this game, and his field of programming knowledge is absolutely scary. You know, he's a genius. My name is Ramon Portalatin. I have been drawing for about 27 years. I was a kitchen manager for about quite some time, and then I joined the United States Marine Corps. After a couple of deployments, I decided to get a new career. I thought it would be a better career option. So here I am, learning how to make games. Now, the first couple of slides I'm going to be talking about is the concept art, the 3D models, and the 2D art of the game. The concept art, we have the flyer, and this is one of the original pictures I drew up in the earlier stages. I also drew the flyer and created Eric Martin for the game. And then we actually decided that these are absolute, really good models. Let's go on and develop them. So the next slide will be showing the concept art of the level. Now, this level was completely made in Unity. There's no 3D Max model in here. So Unity does have 3D Max application. And we decided to have a 3-story level. And then we also have a couple of screenshots in the middle of the level. So we know we wanted a center point in the middle of the game. And then the environments. Now, this is what the environments look after the completion of our game. We have the main level, that's 3 stories tall, and then we also have the boss level. Now, the boss level is a close quarter combat, so when you're in there with the boss, it gets kind of crazy because the boss has teleporting powers and shields. And now I'm going to be talking about the models of the game. Now, we have the prop models. Now, prop models, they're surrounded all over the area, and here's just a couple of them. We also have a wireframe of the models, just to show you the typography of the models. We also have a material ball off to the top left of the screen. The material ball is really handy when you want to see what the light is doing on the model, and that's a good indicator how the ambient light is coming off the model and a 3-point light in the main light. And then we also have 4 types of textures. We use many textures in this game. With these prop models, we have 4 textures. The first one is the main texture. The second one is a normal map, and a normal map is like 3D liquid painting, so it makes the model looks more 3D. The third option we have here is an ambient occlusion map, and that's a really fancy word for soft shadows. So we have soft shadows on all of our models to make them pop more in the game. And then we also have a UV map. And a UV map is just telling us where all the faces are on a 2D dimension. So when you paint on the UV map, it shows up on the model. And the poly count is a little over 1,000. Now here's our character model. Our character model is not in the game for the simple fact it's a first-person shooter. The character model basically is used for billboards and posters and animation and so forth, so I got a little hefty with the textures. And here's all the different texture types for the model itself. We have a lot more textures than this, but and the character is about a little over 9,000 polys. The third model is our non-playable character. In the video game world, they're called NPCs, non-playable characters. Our non-player character is going to be found in the pool, next to the bar, roaming around the bottom level of the shed. And the poly count is a little hefty, over 10,000 polys. But we weren't really worried about the poly count for this character, for the simple fact that you only see her in the beginning stages of the game, and then exactly when aliens appear, they run off. So they're not going to be always in the game, so they're not in the game at the first beginning. So when they leave, enemies come in. And so the next character would be the jumper. The jumper character decided to go with grasshopper legs, has claws. He's going to be found on the first level of the game. He's about 3,500 polys. And the next model will be the runner. The runner character is on the second floor. After you defeat all the